Okay, this is the last piece of equipment that you guys are going to lecture on. This is the why, because it looks like a table saw. Very, very simple in that regard. But how many people in here are into stereo equipment, whether in your car or whether in your house? You got $1,000. Where does the lion's share of your money go? Where do you spend the most of your money? You got $1,000. How many people say amp? How many people say equalizer? You guys probably don't even know what that is. It all goes to amp. Where's all the money go? Speakers. Speakers. You got a so-so amp, and you got killer speakers, like $800 in your speakers and $200 in your amp. Your system sounds pretty good. You got a $800 amp, absolutely killer, but you got $200 in your speakers. You got crap system. It sounds bad because your speakers are bad. So if you're building a shop, you put most of your money in table saw. This is it. This is where you're at 80% of the time. You guys will be here. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We've got one. Oh, wait a minute. So important. We got enough. Wait a minute. It's so important. We have 3 table saws in here. How many chop saws? We're on here most of the time. What type of cuts does this make?
Crosscut.
What's the only one that it really doesn't do?
Regular radius, arc, and arcs.
Yes, the curve cuts. All the curve, arc, radiuses, and irregular shapes. That's the one it doesn't do. Otherwise, it'll do rips, cross cuts, and angle cuts. That one over there, the chop saw, makes cross cuts and angle cuts. It will not make rips. So this one does all 3 of the straight cuts. Okay, let's go over the components and the parts on this, and you should be able to get through most of them. The ones that you cannot get through, we should be able to figure out. This is the
table.
This is the
Insert.
or
Throat plate.
throat plate. This is the blade. This is the this is the
base.
Okay. You people over here can see these. I've got 2 hand wheels. You people can't see them, but just trust that there's 2. There's just just trust that there is 2 hand wheels over here. I'm going to go through one of them right now. We should be able to figure this out.
Blade.
I couldn't have said that better. Blade, height, adjustment, hand wheel. 4 words, and it told me everything I need to know. It told me that it raises and lowers the height, adjust, it's a hand wheel, and it tells me what it adjusts, the blade. So it is a blade height adjustment hand wheel. I got another hand wheel. Very cool. Blade angle adjustment hand wheel. Very cool. So, why am I so fussy? Because you got to know the difference between the 2. You needed to be able to discriminate between the height and the angle, because you're going to use both. You're going to do both. Okay. This guy right here, you would know as a good. You'd know it as a fence. However, this is a specific fence over here. The fence is a guide. This is a guide to keep your stock, to keep your stock straight when you're cutting. If I go like this, you guys need to pay very close attention to this whole thing. You need to be hanging over the saw. You're not going to get the lecture from there. If I make a free hand on here, I'm going to make a free hand cut. And I'm going to push this way, and I'm going to push this way. What am I going to do? I'm going to pinch that. I'm going to close the kerf. I'm going to pinch the blade. It goes like this. I'm going to pinch the blade, and bam, that baby's coming back. I'm going to get kicked back. So I'm going to go. I cannot freehand. You're not going to freehand this. I need some kind of a guide to do this. So I'm going to use this thing right here. Thank you, sir. I'm going to use some kind of a guide to do this. McGinnis and Gonzalez. So I've got to have some kind of a guide to keep this straight. This is my guide right here. We're going to go over this in a second. This is my guide, and I'm going to make what kind of cut with this?
Angle.
Cross cut. And I can also make what kind of cut with this? Angle. What specific angle am I going to usually use this for? Which is a miter. So this guy right here is called miter gauge. G-A-U-G-E. It's a guide, but we're calling it a gauge. Miter gauge. G-A-U-G-E. And when we were over at that bandsaw, what did you see on that bandsaw? A slot for a miter gauge. When we were over at that sander, the belt disc sander, what did you see? A slot for a miter gauge. If you cut it 45 and you want to sand it 45, it makes sense you take this over there and you sand it 45. Make sense? This is your miter gauge, and the miter gauge makes what type of cuts?
No cuts.
Angles and cross cuts. Angles and cross cuts. This guy is a fence, but it makes what kind of cuts? Very nice. It makes rib cuts. So this one is called a rib fence. Over there it's just called a but here it's called a rib fence. Okay. Last part you need to know. This guy right here is called a splitter. S-P-L-I-T-T-E-R. Splitter. Splitter. What is it used for? Good. So it keeps the what open? Keeps the kerf open. You're going to get wood in here sometimes, and it's just the way the wood grain grows. And you're going to cut it, and as soon as it gets past that blade, it's going to come back and it'll close back up. That kerf, or this splitter, keeps the kerf open. Sometimes you're going to get a board, and it works just the opposite. You're going to get it over there, and as soon as you get it on the other side of the blade, it just opens right up. Most times it just keeps the kerf. But sometimes you'll get it. It's going to be rough, and you're just going to keep pushing it through. Okay? Okay, now we need to go over a few do's and don'ts. My hands need to be no closer than 2 inches. Do not go any closer than 2 inches. That isn't right. That blade's at an angle. That's not right. I need to adjust it back. There it is. That's 90. How do I know if this is 90 or not?
The speed square.
Good. I'm going to put a speed square on it. Yeah, that's 90.
Nope.
Thank you, Montgomery. How am I going to be truly accurate? I can't tell when I got just a little bit of blade up there. To be accurate, I need to get some blade up there. And now what? Man, I was wrong. Wow, I was wrong. So now I need to... That it?
Yep.
Cool. So now, how do I check my blade? Speed square. Raise the blade with a speed square. Okay. Now I can make my cross cut. That's not a cross cut. How do I check my... How do I do that then?
However you do that.
So, that's it, right? How do I check it? Oh, sure, how do I check this? Stevens, how do I check this? Yeah, exactly. Over here. How do I check it? This is a miter gauge. How do I check my miter gauge?
You have degrees.
With the level.
Has a degree on it. Put it on 0.
Where?
0.
Yeah, I see 0. You keep saying 0, but where?
On point.
Point where?
Fence.
Huh?
Use the fence.
With the fence.
I don't know the fence.
Okay. Here's the fence. There's 0. Show me. How do I make a 90-degree cut? How do I make a perpendicular 90-degree cut? Because right now, the last person on here, they leave it however they leave it. Whatever worked for them. They may have wanted to cut 10 degrees. They may have wanted to cut 45 on this. You need to adjust it to what you want.
You're gonna have to have it at a speed square too, aren't you?
What?
You're gonna have to use a speed square.
What?
You're gonna have to use a speed square.
Oh, good idea. Let's use a speed square to check the angle. And this is what I get constantly. Okay, yeah, not it. I checked the blade angle with what? And I checked the blade to the table. I need to check the miter gauge to the
Table.
not to the table. I mean, that's obviously not right. That's not right. So this is not right. This is not right. I need to check miter gauge against what? Now do you get it? That right there. No daylight here, no daylight there. That guy now is 90 degrees. That's 90. So now I'm able to make a 90-degree miter gauge. I mean, a 90-degree cross cut. Okay? Is that good?
You can't tighten it so it won't be so
I did tighten it. I did tighten it. Then the guy comes in after you. He changed it to 45. You got to change it back. How do I check it for 45? How do I check it for 45? Check it with a speed scale. I check the miter gauge against the blade. Okay. Let's go back. I'm going to now make a cut. Not really, but I'm going to pretend like I'm going to make a cut. This is an okay cut, correct?
No.
Why? What's going to happen? I'm cutting off my pinky right here. Cutting off the tip of my pinky.
Yep.
Okay. One, I didn't know it, didn't intend to do that. So I got way too much blade here. How high should my blade be?
1/4 above the stock.
Nice. 1/4 of an inch above my stock. About 1/4 of an inch above my stock. Now what's going to happen? Cut it, but not off. Yes, definitely. But I'm saying that you need to be no more than 1/4 of an inch. Because if it's way up there, that pinky, the end of it is gone. If you've got it 1/4 of an inch, you're going to cut through the meat. Hopefully you don't cut the bone. So no more than 1/4 of an inch of the blades showing. Okay? I said that my hands could be no closer than 2 inches from the blade. Agreed? I'm going to take and rip this stock. I take this stock over to the joiner because I got a nasty edge here and a nasty edge here. So I can go clean up one edge. Then I'm going to come over here and put my clean edge up against my rib fence. And now I'm going to go cut the other edge clean. It will cut it clean and it will make it, who said that? Very nice. It makes it parallel. Very, very nice. So it's going to make this. Can I cut this with my bare hands? Why not? Really? I'm seeing 3. I got 3 inches here. I can run this guy right through here like this, and my hands came no closer than 3. I'm good. So I can run this stock. I can run this thing right through there. And my hands are still 3 inches from the blade. Can I use it? Can I do this? You will make this cut. Can I use my bare hands with this cut? I can. I can. So I need what? I need a push stick to do this. I need a push stick. Whew. What happened to this push stick? We cut it all up. We cut it all up because we don't want to cut up our fingers. This is what we're supposed to cut up. So when somebody ran that stock through there, sure enough, it cut it. This is what you meant to do. You will be making cuts like that. So I need a size to know when to use a push stick and when not to. I can rip stock 3 inches with my bare hands. Because then I can put my hand in here at 1 and still be 2 inches. I got kids that do this constantly. This is really awkward. This is pretty stable. I know how to use this. I've been using it all my life, both hands. So I can use my hands quite efficiently. When I have to, then I reach for the push stick. So when you make a rip cut, that push stick better be right here. When I'm making a rip cut, 1 inch rip cut, I go like this and I go, uh-oh. Help! Somebody give me a push stick now! Because you're not backing out of this cut. Because as soon as I back out and I turn that board, what's going to happen? Kickback. I'm going to probably get kickback as soon as I pinch it in there. Give me a push. The time to have a push stick is before your cut. So when you come over here and you go, hey Longo, can I make this cut? And I go, yeah, looks good. Glasses on, yeah. Oh, nope, you can't make the cut. Why not? I won't tell you. I won't tell you why not. Push stick needs to be here. Everything needs to be set up. I will not give you a nod until everything is set up. If you are sitting like this, come on, baby. If you are sitting like this, you don't get a nod. Why not? And if you stand here for 30 seconds, I'll say, beat it. Because there's 6 other people that know how to use the piece of equipment that want to get on it. And if you don't know the answer, this is the time to learn it. This is the time to learn it. Because on Monday, Friday or Monday, I'm going to go, let's go to work. And I'm not going to leave you hanging. I will make your first project for you, right in front of you, all of you. So if you're on a broom for a week or 2 weeks, you better pay attention to how to do this to make the first project. I will completely go, and I'll go, okay, that's it. If you 5 guys want to go make it, you 1 person want to make it, whatever you go work. And I stand right over there like this, and I watch, and I watch. And all the people that have hundreds go to work. But I'll tell you exactly how to make it. Okay. How many people in here hunt? How many people in here reload shells? How many people in here play with fireworks? As it should be. That's what you guys do. That's your age. Hey, I do this. I take black powder or I take silver powder and I put a little pile of silver powder right here. I take a match to it. What's it going to do? No.
It's gonna smoke.
It's going to flash. Just like a sparkler. You light a sparkler and it goes shh, right? Why did it not blow up?
It's not under pressure. It's not under pressure.
It's not contained, it's not under pressure. If I put it in a shell and I tamp it, it's under pressure. If I put it in you guys do, I don't know what you guys do as far as the bombs, the work bombs and all that kind of stuff. Who knows what you do? And I'm not telling you what to do or what not to do. But if I take it, put it in a firecracker, and I roll it really, really tight under pressure, and it's contained, and then it wants to expand, it's going to blow up. If I take a piece of stock, and I go miter gauge and rip fence together, and I put it in here, and it sits in here, and it vibrates, and it moves, and it's in there tight, what's going to happen? That baby is going to come flying out. I talked to somebody this weekend, and they were like, there's a guy. It's really kind of cool. I wish they'd come in and talk. There's a guy and a wife, and they do woodworking. They're both retired, and he loves woodworking, and he taught her how to woodwork, and so both of them do woodworking now. And he said he has a saw, or he has a table, not a saw, but a table behind his table saw. And he said, I got a kickback one time. He said, a board came flying out, and he said, it put a dent in my table. And he said, I do not fix that table. I will not fix that table. I said, really? He goes, it's a constant reminder for me to how powerful that is. This is a 3 horsepower motor, stronger than any one of us in here, all of us put together. I have seen, maybe not as far as that, but maybe as far as the table saw, in my last shop, kid, and I probably told you that, kick back, hit the cement wall, because in all schools, they're built like this, all the cement block wall, and then broke into pieces. The power is absolutely outrageous. It's huge. You do not want to get hit with this thing. It will hurt bad. Especially you guys that are the wrong height. It will hurt very, very bad. You'll wish it hit you in the head. Okay. What size is this piece of equipment?
What's the weight?
What size is this equipment?
The diameter?
Which is?
18.
No.
14.
12 inches.
Good guess. Where did you get that number from? Chop saw. Good. It's a little bit smaller than our chop saw.
11 inches.
10-inch blade. This is a 10-inch table saw. This is a 10-inch table saw. What size is my kerf?
1
Nice. My kerf is 1/8 of an inch. Do not use miter gauge and rip fence together. Do not use miter gauge and rip fence together. Do not use miter gauge and rip fence together. What am I missing? What am I missing? Do not leave until this baby will free spin for a long time. It will free spin. Yesterday I had a kid, sure enough, first year after we did the demo, he shut it off, walked away. I go, you're not going anywhere. You wait for that blade to stop. No, I wish we had a brake. I've had machines that had brakes. Oh, they're so nice.